to make that award this year, here is our own Elmar Kriegler. Elmar, take it away.
Yeah, thanks. So the closing ceremony is always the most, it's a great conference every year, and the closing ceremony is the, the, the high point of it. Looking forward to it. Going to Athens, fantastic. So we're really looking forward to this. Now we come to the awards. You can see that, so the IMC is giving out a number of awards at its annual conferences. We have poster awards for the online posters and for the on-site posters that will be presented. And then we have 3 awards. One is an award for an extraordinary contribution to the field of integrated assessment. We have an award for early career researchers tied to a paper, and we have a Lifetime Achievement Award. So let me guide you through this. I'm a bit scared, but it's only one slide coming here. That's right. It's right now very important that the slides are not continuing to move, okay? So, right, just to remind you how this works with the awards. So every IMC member can nominate a person for these awards, and there will be, via the IMC mailing list, I think it's in spring, or sometimes spring, a call for nominations. And so please use it. As an IMC member, you are invited to submit nominations. And then there will be a selection committee, which is mostly drawn from previous award winners that come to this decision. And so it happened also this year, and we are now coming to the successful awardees of this year. We start with the IMC Award for Extraordinary Contributions to the field of integrated assessment modeling. And this year was awarded, and now you know these TV shows rather than always, and it takes 30 seconds and 1 minute, but I cannot do this. I'm not made for this. So this year's awardee is Sarita Vishwanathan. So, Sarita, we have a slide for you. So, so the award committee decided to give you the award this year for a number of reasons. You play an instrumental role in connecting the national transition and global integrated assessment modeling, which is so vital for our community. And I think the evidence today was clear. You have shown the national SWG results. We have been at the justice session. You have taken a leading role in this scientific working group on national scenarios, and you have led this huge international national modeling. I called it international national model intercomparison because not just one country, it's a lot of countries. You have said it, 26 countries, 100 models. It's a great success. So congratulations for that. Thanks. Okay, you have much easier if I can take the mic. All right. So, and you have advanced research on social technological transitions and justice dimensions, which was very clear from the slides as well. You're covering multiple approaches, so a really interdisciplinary person. We are amazed by your outstanding ability for interdisciplinary and reflective thinking. And I think that's, we can clearly say that you provide steady support for the IMC community with an incredible amount of energy, so it's very amazing. And therefore, for this major contribution to the IMC, congratulations, the award. Please.
Thank you, Elmar. Thank you, IMC. I'm overwhelmed. I'm really overwhelmed. I mean, when I first saw the awards, I thought it would be 10, 15, 20 years of dedication, and then maybe, uh, but just IMC has given me a lot. Um, I became part of the IMCSSC just after my PhD, so this is for everyone. And it has been an exceptional journey. It has opened up my own understanding, and I always ask questions. It started with basically, could we have videos for IAMs, because we don't know from Global South what actually IAMs are. And every suggestion, question I asked was always answered. They always had, what it provided me was, don't be afraid to ask questions. Please feel free to give and provide suggestions as much, and help build community. The other thing is, obviously, there would be people to critique, but how do we find solution spaces and bridge the gap between not only communities, but people who are not aware of the work that we are doing? And just being part of this community, I've realized how much hard work everyone puts in. So I'm trying to do the same, and trying to also encourage people, especially female researchers, that we can do a lot. And thank you very much once again. Thank you so much.
So we're moving on. Um, the next award, I think, is
Posters.
it's posters, and that's for you, Detlef.
That's
So,
Van Duren. Once again,
Thank you.
welcome back to ours.
So for the posters, we have an award both for the online posters and for the posters here in person. Okay, yeah, that's important. The online posters are an important part of the symposium. We have more submissions in terms of posters than we can show at this symposium itself. And that's why we have created this additional place where we present posters. We still have to find out a way to make it even more attractive to join. But it is simply a very important way to communicate research. And so that's therefore also important that we have an award for that. In judging the different posters, we look at the content of the poster, whether it's innovative research. We look at the way that the research is presented on the poster. Is it easy to follow? Is it attractive way to present it? And third, we also look at how the presenter presents the information. So is the person telling the story nicely and explaining what's happening? And so that's how we selected the prizes. We had two poster committees, one for the online, one for the committee here. The names were already on a slide a few slides back. The only person that I would like to especially thank is Shinichiro, who coordinated the online award committee. So I will first start by the online poster, and that's one by Adrian Odenweller. And we will send the poster to Adrian because he is not online at the moment. Yeah, exactly. Then we go to the paper, the poster award is for Remind PIPESA and working on price-based soft coupling of an integrated assessment and a power system model. I'm now going to move to the in-person posters, and there we actually ended up with first 7 posters that we really, really liked. And so as a jury, we then had to make a choice, and we scored the posters, and actually we ended up with an ex aequo. We had 2 posters that were equally well appreciated by all of us. And we, in the end, simply decided we should not make a choice. And so therefore this year we have 2 awards for the in-person posters. So the first here goes to Camila Laquinit. So please come up. So this is the poster, and we really appreciated, first of all, the poster itself, but also the way that you presented it. And thank you. Thanks. And stay here because we're going to give a second poster. And the second poster, as I said, simply had an equal score. And that poster goes to Pedro Maya. Thank you. So congratulations as well. The poster is on the aviation sector. And here we really appreciated how, with very relatively little information on the poster, the story was completely told. And therefore it was a very easy poster to understand. Thank you very much. So I think it's back to you, Elmar.
For the Early Career Award. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, I actually just heard that the IMC has a webinar series, and the poster awardees, if they would be interested to present also their poster as part of this webinar series, that would be very, very welcome. But let's now come to the next award. We are not done yet. So the next award is the award for an early career researcher. Early career, we do have actually on our website a description about these awards with all the regulations and so on. So there you can read what early career means. It doesn't mean that you need to be 22 or something. It means that you are young to the field of integrated assessment whenever you entered it. Could also be with 32. And this award is also tied to publications. So really when people nominate candidates, they also point to a publication, say this paper really has been a strong contribution to the community. So this year, awardee is, drum roll, Mark Decker from PBL. So Mark, congratulations. It's a pleasure to have you here online. If you would have known, right? Here's your,
maybe I would have been there.
where
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. So
yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And
I also have a slide for you, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Before I give you the word. And now right. Yeah, that's perfect. Keep it like this. So yeah, so the award committee has given you the award for your work on particularly the uncertainty analysis of IAM results, which is a very important topic. You have used a new methodology, the Sobol method, for example, to disentangle uncertainty in climate policy scenarios. There's a paper, I said it is tied to papers. One paper called Spread in Climate Policy Scenarios Unraveled in Nature Climate Change. You also work on the diagnostics of IAMs. As we talked about the SWG, where you're leading this activity together with Matthijs. You also have published now on burden sharing, also in Nature Climate Change. So you're playing also a leading role in several European modeling projects where we take responsibility for tasks and work packages. And so, yeah, all of this body of work demonstrates your skill, your excellence, and being an example for the next generation of IAM scholars. That is very important for us, to have young people coming after the old guys who will be gone at some point, and really continuing the, I mean myself, so sorry. Continuing the IAM journey. So Mark, congratulations, and over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and of course I'm deeply honored to and positively surprised to get this and to get a call from Detlef. Hey, I need to find an excuse for you to be online in the evening for the IMC. No, thanks a lot, and also, yeah, just to be clear, in all these publications that you're quoting, it's always really a big group effort. And also the one on fingerprints, for example, there were 8 modeling teams involved, and yeah, it's simply great that there is this collaboration spirit in the community. And yeah, I get a shame that I'm not there, but it's great that we're picking up on the diagnostics and evaluation part in the SWG as you presented, say half an hour ago. And yeah, really looking forward to picking that up again and going further in the uncertainty of IAMs, and to do that as a community. So again, thanks a lot. Very honored, and yeah, over to you.
You've been waiting for the Lifetime Achievement Award. By the way, I have no idea who won this. I just got this envelope right before the session from Pat Wagner. So I'm going to be as surprised as you are. Maybe. So envelope, please. And the winner is... So Roberto, we get to thank you both for this terrific week and for a lifetime of achievements on our behalf. We do have a list of achievements that you're probably all aware of, but we'll get to them. But a funny thing happened on the way here. I actually did know, not many people did know that Roberto is going to win, which is quite fitting given that we are here. Even more so, some of his students and former students got together and created their own narrative about why they are so grateful for, on our behalf and on their behalf, for this gentleman's great leader and inspirational figure in the community. So they give me some clues of how to present a little narrative about the road to lifetime achievement, which they have titled a lifetime achievement of building bridges. So the storyline, I hope I don't mess this up, but if I do, the group is kind of spread it all around the room here. Can do that. Oops. Oh, just give it a little. Okay, that's the party after. I hope you all be there now. Oh, I gotta go back. Can we go back? Okay, well, you're not supposed to look at the left-hand side yet, but part of the building bridges scenario is the many hats that Roberto has worn in his life, some of which I actually knew, many of which I did not. We'll go through a few of these as we go through and try to tie this with the honors received. So the story starts with a young engineering student in Curitiba here in Brazil, coincidentally known for sustainability because they had a mayor who was an engineer. So these are some of the hats when Roberto was in Curitiba as a young engineering student. I understand he had ambitions of becoming an astronaut at one point. He's also a master chef, conductor, engineer, fireman. I don't know where that comes in. This, I assume, is a political scientist, a engineer, architect, and music performer. But I'd like to anchor this in the dialectic, the narrative put together by the students and former students in the bottom left-hand corner. So he is first and foremost a architect, engineer. So he, in the 1980s, as a student, asked himself a simple question, and that is, can we power this rapidly growing world without destroying the planet? So that's the first inkling of what was to come. He then decided for some reason to go to the University of Pennsylvania and got a PhD in 1990 and was teaching at the Wharton School. But along the way, it is alleged by his students that he had a master plan for how to help answer that question in the affirmative. And that was to build bridges. So he's built bridges between science and politics, between developed and developing countries, as you see in clear view here this week. And I think we all see the affection that he has for his students here this week and have seen it many times before, and vice versa. So he's been building bridges all along between generations, which we surely need in the world writ large at this point. So then the story goes to the United States, and then there is, for decision theory people, a big decision problem at the end of this. He's done well enough, taught at the Wharton School, that he could actually have stayed at that point in the early 1990s in the US, but he decided to return to Brazil. And the reason for that is he envisioned that there was a need to have an analytic capability to deal with the big problems of the day, including climate, by a Brazilian in Brazil representing the interest of Brazil on his own. So he returned to Brazil, and we lost him in the US. Little sidebar story, the students probably don't know, there was a time where several of us in the United States actually were trying to keep him in the United States, which would have ended this story before its time. So he returned to the United States, and then in order to demonstrate that a Brazilian person who could do the politics and do the science could actually do it kind of on his own as an individual intellectual scientist at world class. And so he got involved in the IPCC and did that for a while, starting in 1998, and was given the job that you can now appreciate. We probably have 20 people here doing this, to basically collect scenarios and explain them to the decision makers and why they might be interested in them, and get guidance from him about what to do. So that was the next phase in this story that progressed. And then, as a true leader of the young generations, he realized it would be even better for the country to develop a group that could do what other groups could do in developing countries, a world-class capability to do analysis and modeling in support of global unity, but also from the point of view of a Brazilian again. And that's where the whole idea of Synergia came up, and all these great students you see here. So the storyline there was to both create an institution that could show up in Paris with a complete, consistent analytic analysis from the point of view of Brazil. I was at some of the early COPs, and it was very uneven because a few countries only, for a while it was just Austria and the US, could actually show up on the floor with a full plan that they could revise overnight and the negotiators could go with. But this man did it for a developing country, and the developing country was Brazil. And then in the even longer, more philosophical part of this, there was the third, and that helped increase the reach he had across the boundary. I can tell you this firsthand, between developed and developing countries that often didn't talk to each other, either the COPs or the IPCC meetings, very much. And then as a great leader and inspirational force amongst the students, he came up with the idea of that is a good legacy, but like it's been said about Shah Jahan by tour guides at the Taj Mahal, his greatest accomplishment is not some of these here where he got awards from the IPCC, and then he got awards for the analysis the team had done, which was both showing up in Paris, and then 3 years later when deforestation had gone uncontrollable. Actually, he probably doesn't remember this, but EMF had a great paper in EMF 33 on why we got the story wrong on net negative scenarios in the previous study we had done, which was extremely consequential. So he was able to do that and realize that part of his legacy was this, like Shah Jahan, it's not just this list of awards, but it's all around you. There it was physical infrastructure. Here it is the smiling students you see in the office and other students of his that are in Brasilia, in government offices, in Sao Paulo, in research labs, elsewhere around Brazil, Latin America, and around the world. I would say for me personally, an interesting side story, which wasn't in the original dialogue, is I was asked to come down when the LAMP project started, which was a USAID EPA thing, to try to go teach Latin Americans what's up with climate change policy and modeling. I was tasked to be the keynote speaker. You probably remember this. Roberto kind of set this all up. There were 2 meetings in Brazil, one in Argentina, one in Colombia, and one in Costa Rica. We started in Belo Horizonte. You may remember that. So I gave the keynote speech to talk to the people in Brazil about what they didn't know and needed to know as an outsider. And you probably remember this. By the end of that session, I gave the wrap up and I wound up saying, actually, we have actually, and this was 2010, 11, something like that even, to tell the truth, on the part of our delegation, we actually learned much more from you because you had the local politics and the spirit of the people in mind, and we definitely did not have that. So we actually learned much more from you than then. We probably should have paid you we didn't get paid any money, so we probably should have given you credit, part of our travel budget back. I actually felt like I should have paid for that trip myself. So in closing, I think I'm going to channel something else that may not be occurred, but it goes back to this right-hand corner, which I'd like to ask you about. And that is, as a 1970s classic rock and roll person, another thing I see in the spirit and the dialogue the students' work is the line from the classic folk rock pop, I guess I would call it, song, which is entitled, believe it or not, Teach Your Children Well. So I'll modify the lyrics slightly, but the idea here is the Grand Master shares his dreams with all the young people here, students, and they each select a career path. Many of them have and will continue to do so. But the admonition from Crosby, Stills and Nash, in case you were wondering, was don't ask them why they picked the path they did, because if they gave you an answer, you might cry, and you should just sit back and let them fly and know that they and we love you. One last thing, thanks to these guys, there's a huge celebration right outside as soon as he finishes, but take all the time you want, which have been hiding all day. There was a cover story, I don't know if you got this, that there was another group that was gonna take our space and we had to not end right there casually, but there's a big celebration planned outside right after we leave here.
Thank you very much, John. In fact, I learned many things today. I learned from Elmar that we're gonna go away. Also, I think John is gonna learn something from you. John, as you mentioned, I finished my PhD in 1990, exactly 35 years ago. And at that time, I was thinking about applying for a postdoc. And one of the places where I decided to apply was Stanford. At that time, there was no such a thing as an email. So I wrote you a letter asking for a position at Stanford, and you never answered me.
I could say it got lost in the mail. I think actually, interestingly, the honest to God truth is I was probably on the road for IPCC and never got through my mail. And the rest is history. So you have to agree, for the good of the world and the good of the Brazilian people, it was a good outcome.
So let's say,
And actually, one last thing, not to make another metaphorical comment, but and now you are the master.
so now let's say, based on what you said about me, I'm more relaxed now. I realized that it was nothing personal, right? So I'm glad. Well, to be very sincere, let's say I'm being taken by surprise here. And I think there is a big mistake here, right? Because when I think about those that have already received this award, like Shukla, Mikiko, Naki, Jay Edmonds, Richard Nordhaus, Nobel Prize in Economics, and you, I think I'm not at the same stature of all those that have received it.
Yeah. Since I was first, I totally disagree.
And-
Just for the record.
And I can think about many people that are in here today. I'm not going to name them, but I think they would deserve that more than me. And those people know who they are. But anyway, I'm not going to disappoint you. And that's the best thing I could do is to accept this award and run away as fast as possible so that you don't change your minds. But let's say, as Max Dexter has said before, and I totally, let's say, support what he said, everything that I have made have to do with these people. Thank you very much.